Hello, this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show. The ancient Chinese military general Sun Tzu is considered to be the intellectual genius of all modern-day military war strategies. His ideas are taught in all military war colleges across the land, and his tactics and strategies are the central premise of modern-day warfare. The primary idea that is driven home by Sun Tzu is to win the war before troops set foot on the ground. The idea is to use subversive tactics against one's opponent before the fighting starts. In other words, win the war before the war even begins. And I will quote Sun Tzu now. Quote, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting," unquote, Sun Tzu. And the question is, has Sun Tzu's tactics been used against our own people? Has there been a military war strategy used against the USA without us even knowing it? Our country was once the strongest society in the world, with a vibrant industrial base, a strong per capita income, a healthy family unit. And today, we see all of that deteriorating. How did this happen? Was our political class hijacked against us? Were they employed by some outside foreign element with the specific purpose of ruining our societies? Are our politicians traitors to the American people? I will quote Sun Tzu again for the answer to that question. And here is Sun Tzu's answer to that question. Quote, "In war, the way to avoid what is strong," from the top again. Again, quote, "In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike what is weak," unquote, Sun Tzu. Right there, you have it. You have the central premise, the central tactic, the central strategy of your elected political class for the past 100 years to subvert our societies against us. The enemy has infiltrated our own systems and our own elected leaders we now need to question on a moral basis. Let's look at the facts. 50 years ago, America was a manufacturing juggernaut. And today we cannot even get a simple t-shirt made in America. How did this happen? We are told to look to the American worker, that they are unskilled, that they are uneducated, that they are out of touch. But is that the case? Is it the American worker, or is the political class shifting attention away from their crimes? That is the question. The Chinese pegged their currency to the American dollar, ensuring that regardless of how competitive American-made products were, the overseas product was always the better buy. It was always the more competitive product. And it did not matter how good our American workers achieved, what they achieved in the marketplace, they would always be outbid by the Chinese. And this created the exodus of the American industry. And what our political class did is initiated a re-entry tax so that as investments were leaving our country, should a business ever decide to return to America, they would be hit with a stiff penalty fine. This law ensured that businesses would stay overseas. This was one nail in the coffin of American industry put in place by your elected leaders. And while our industrial sector was being bludgeoned to death, the political class created the NAFTA free trade agreement to pour salt in the wounds, to hurt us even more, to completely finish us off. They ensured that American manufacturing would be dead forever, and the decline of the American urban center, the decline of the American cities would start. Our once great urban centers began their steady decline, turning our city neighborhoods from productive states to welfare states, from healthy neighborhoods to crime-ridden neighborhoods. When you remove somebody's ability to make an income, the one alternative a lot of people look to is crime. That was done on purpose. It is time to quit pointing our fingers at one another and start pointing our fingers at the elected leaders who did this, at the people that set the foundations of our societies. They then turned their daggers toward the American family unit, which was the central unit keeping America intact. And this was done by none other than Lyndon Baines Johnson, the godfather of the Texas Democrats, the man that the Texas Democrats to this day eulogize. LBJ, that's their guy. What he would do is he would reward fatherless homes with a welfare check, ensuring that daddies would leave their families behind. You would get rewarded, you get paid. And this particularly hit our urban centers and our minority communities in the urban centers. And it wasn't happenstance. It wasn't a mishap. It was a targeted hit at a specific people. There was a crime and there was a victim. And the victim was our American minorities put on us by the elected leaders who call us the racists all day long. They constantly keep their finger pointed at you, so you never look at their crimes. They did it, and it's time to start accusing them. But today is a new day. May we be so bold as to dream again. Are we on the brink of 1,000 years of peace? Are we on the brink of seeing that the best is yet to come? I am going to put my money down on the American people. I'm betting on the American people. I'm telling you to today, take your vitamins, eat your Wheaties, do your exercises, and stay healthy, because what's in store for us is going to be incredible. President Trump has proposed the novel idea of building 10 new American cities. Today, the American deep state, your government, owns an incredibly large percentage of American lands. It's 1/3 of all of our lands are owned by the federal government. 1/3. And what President Trump is proposing is taking a percentage of that land and liberating it for the American family, for new cities to be developed. It's an incredible time to be an American. Not only is he doing that, he intends to initiate a strategic manufacturing initiative specifically targeted at today's blighted centers, with the intent of restoring our once grand urban centers, our forgotten lands, into something great again. Now, we've had politicians say this over and over and again, but President Trump is about business, and I'm going to prove it to you right now, because in 2017, he showed up at the Harley-Davidson headquarters and he announced the resurgence of American manufacturing. And when he did that, the Harley executives said that they had never heard anyone even say such a thing before. All of our political class, all they did was berate the American working class. President Trump empowered the American working class. He announced that manufacturing would come back, and it started. A slow, steady beat, a slow, steady turnaround of our American centers. Cities like Youngstown, Ohio, like Gary, Indiana, like East St. Louis, Illinois, began to see a resurgence. These towns had been absolutely bludgeoned by the American political class, but President Trump was bringing a heartbeat back to the patient. And so with that being said, these are incredible times. And the questions before you, are we in front of some of the greatest times known to man? We're going to get to that question a lot more on today's show. This is the Chris Heasley Show, and on this show, we will bring you all the ideas, the content, the information that you need to take back your village, your borough, your township, your school district, your city, your county, our great Texas counties, and the great state of Texas. But there's an obligation that comes with this show, and the obligation is on you to get involved at the local level, because change happens at the local level. Sam Adams said we need 1,000 brush fires for liberty, and we need brush fires at the local level. We need activism at the local in order to embrace this change. President Trump is setting us up for great things, but he cannot do it alone. And we need to be the blocking back for the running back. We need to make sure he can punch these ideas through, and that we can see these 10 new cities come to fruition, and we can see our cities like Beaumont, Texas, like East St. Louis, Illinois, like Compton, California. We can see these cities become great again. And with that being said, we have an incredible show today. I'm so excited for today's show.